would like to call upon our guest of honor, Mr. Rajeev Chopra, Managing Director, Legal Accenture, to kindly come forward and enlighten our young minds.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sandeep ji, I must compliment you on the very eloquent speech. I wish you were a part of our bar and community yourself, because I don't think many lawyers can speak as fluently and eloquently as you can. And you've also said many of the things I wanted to say, so I think you've taken part of my thunder already. Secondly, I'm sandwiched between two great speakers. Sandeep ji, you heard, and he needs no introduction, and obviously you're going to hear some pearls of wisdom from him, which will be unmatched. When I was thinking about what to speak in this forum, I was struggling, because I do speak at various forums, etc. And mostly it's a very it's usually professional forums. So we speak of issues, we speak at large, important areas of law. We speak of things which are affecting the profession and so on and so forth. But to come into a house full of twinkling eyes, full of passion, looking forward to their entire life in front of them, is a completely different responsibility, and I take that seriously. I'm a part of that era. I was, by the way, one of you about 33 years ago. I've been a legal professional for 30 years, and that time there was no 5-year courses, there were only 3-year courses. So you had to graduate, and then you had to do 3 years of LLB. 5 years was just about starting, but very nascent stages. And that time, the legal profession was, in most part, when you were good for nothing else. So you had not been qualified as an engineer or a doctor. You had not qualified in army. You had not qualified for bank probationary officer. So you had basically not done anything which was considered worthwhile at that time. So all you were left to do was law. So I'm part of that era. But that doesn't mean all students were like that, but majority of the students were in that category. And I have seen this profession come from strength to strength for the last 30 years of my journey. I have been privileged to be associated with at least 3 branches of law, if I may say that. I've been a litigator for the initial 6 odd years of my life as a professional lawyer. I have also been in law firms doing corporate commercial work and understood how a course of a law firm works, etc. And I have been a part of in-house community now for last number of years. What I have not done is been a part of judiciary and many other novel legal jobs available now, but I think I've done the 3 main spectrums. And of course I will come to that, but there are far more avenues than the 3 or 4 that I mentioned, and we'll come to that. When I started, there were hardly any law firms, hardly any. There were handful, few in Bombay, couple in Delhi, and many of the law firms were just beginning to start. Like, for example, Luthra and Luthra, JSA, these are all at very, very initial stages of their growth. So hardly any law firms to join, hardly any other opportunities. By default, you were supposed to go to the courts and start your profession there. Now, of course, there are lawyers with hundreds or even thousands of lawyers, and I have to tell you that even Accenture, where I'm the general counsel, we employ 450 lawyers in-house in India, out of which, other than the 50 lawyers who work for the India-centric role, which is something to do with India. 400 of my colleagues work for onshore work. So basically what they're doing is contracting for a business-to-business deal in US or Netherlands or United States or Canada or wherever. So these 400 people are doing something which has nothing to do with India, but is something to do with foreign jurisdictions. So that's a large workforce of lawyers, even a company like Accenture has, and that was this is a different scale altogether than the scales when I started, in my professional journey. Now that said, with a little bit of my background, like I said, I was kind of thinking about how to sort of address this audience, what it makes sense for me to say that would, be of some help to you as you sort of begin your educational journey. So I'm not going to sort of speak about tough professional sort of words, and I'm going to just reflect on my career and tell you things which I could have done better if I had to rewrite my history and begin 33 years ago exactly on the same day. Yeah? So I'm just going to share some of those things which I felt I needed to do better, and maybe you should carry them with you as you sort of progress from here on. So first of all, I would say that please focus on the first principles. Very important. You will be taught as you begin, your curriculum, subjects like jurisprudence or procedure or family law, contract, whatever. Now, I wish I had paid more attention to the theory as well. I very often as students we become obsessed with just somehow passing the exam or just being able to just score that sweet spot, right? 70, 80, 60%, whatever is your zone. And we don't focus necessarily on the learning of it. And I'm telling you, this is the time you want to invest in learning that theory, because in future, very few opportunities will come to you to learn the first principle. So this is your time. Number one. Number two, which I've seen missing in many youngsters, I'm not being judgmental here, but what I'm seeing is a lot of youngsters are not aware of what's happening in politics or what's happening in socio-economic front or what is current affairs, etc. In my era, this was a very important area, right? We were very keyed in on the general knowledge, that they would say. And nowadays, I find that kids are not as interested or aware. So just be focused that as a legal professional, you will need an appreciation of that at a much different scale than your other colleagues in other professions. But as a lawyer, you're expected to be savvy on the politics, savvy on what's happening in socio-economic front, savvy in knowing what's the general sort of environment in the world, etc. That's number two. Groom yourself well. That's third, right? Please take your grooming very seriously, because people like to associate with people who are well turned out, right? That's very important. It's a very simple thing, but just make sure that you are well groomed, right? People take you more seriously if you dress well, dress according to the situation or the event, etc. And I think that just goes a long way. A small step, but a long way for people to take you seriously. As you sort of do your internships, make the most of them, because your future opportunities, future network, future associations, etc. will come from the initial internships that you do. So please invest a lot in, whenever you get internships, please invest a lot in learning more during those internships, and also making relationships, because like I said, your future opportunity or future break might just come from one of those opportunities. Be well-rounded. And I know I am saying this because I get a lot of requests from youngsters to join in-house community. And I just tell them one thing, that please be well-rounded. Don't come to in-house straight away from law school. I mean, you can, there's no estoppel, but unless you've done the dirty work, gone to the courts, run from one court to the other, gone to the trial court, and ground yourself well, you will never become a good lawyer. Even as in-house, I've managed big teams myself, and I've seen people who have a well-rounded experience of being a litigator and in a corporate commercial environment, in a law firm, become much better in-house lawyers. I'm not saying this is a recipe, but what I'm saying is, please bear that in mind, that your initial years you should think of investing in doing hard grind as a litigator. So that's my next mantra. The next one I would like to say is be loved. Now this is a very, it sounds interesting sometimes, but our CEO of the company this year gave this priority to some of the senior leaders of the firm. Be loved. And it's a very profound statement. Look around you, all your friends whom you associate with, or your people who you like to interact with, are people you love, right? And the same goes in the professional field also. So unless you are loved, you will not attract clients, you will not attract professional network. So make sure you invest in yourself so that you are loved by people, so that you get be professionally successful as you are successful in your social circle. So invest in being liked, right? And that those things are sometimes very natural. But what I'm saying is, I'm underlining this point that a success is somehow proportionate to how much you are liked as a person. And I think Sandeepji already said this, but I'm going to repeat that point, that be prepared for setbacks. You will have setbacks in the initial years as a student and as you begin your professional journey. But please be prepared for that, because it will not be a smooth journey. But don't let that bring you down. Just make sure that in each adversity you rise stronger. Because I have in my life had issues where I faced a lot of setbacks, and I have no shame in admitting that when I wanted to switch from litigation to a law firm, I was actually rejected by a couple of law firms, and that's fine, because that doesn't mean that you are not good. It's just that maybe there's no fitment. I mean, there was no meeting of mind. It doesn't make you bad, right? So there will be setbacks, so just be prepared for that. And the next one I have is find yourself a mentor. I think without a mentor, it's very difficult to succeed anywhere. And believe me, you will in your journey find mentors. Even if you don't have an uncle or somebody in the legal profession, or your parents, it's not the end of the road. Somewhere down the line, you will meet that one or two people who will take interest in you and will try and bring you up. I think you have to keep your eyes open and look for that mentor which is going to help you. I've had mentors in my career, and that's part of the reason I'm here on this dais, because there were people who took interest in me. There were people who said, okay, Rajeev, let me help you. They don't say these words, but their actions say that they want to help you. They are interested in your betterment. They're interested in your success. So be sure to find mentors. And lastly, what I want to say is that this legal profession is not just about being a litigator or in a law firm or in-house. This legal profession is fast transforming. There are various fields that are going to open up. They're already opening up, but they will open up even more. For example, being a part of a legal startup, or being a law tech person. So, transcending technology with law. There could be, like I said, 400 of my colleagues in my company who work for onshore, for US or Canada or wherever. So be open to those alternate professions, because those alternate professions are also going to be equally important as we sort of progress. And 30 years down the line, you might be sitting in a different world. So these were the few things I wanted to just share with you all. I am happy to take any questions now or later, but now I will pause my commentary. I know we've been running a little late, but it was great interacting with you. Great to see this bright young faces, and I wish you all the best in your career and future. Thank you.